What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Maverick Man 101. Got a video here today from the Modern King. Judge humbles entitled ex-wife giving dad custody and sending her to jail. Let's go.
Judge for Division 10. This is our civil contempt. We have 3 matters on the calendar this morning. All right. We have Ms. Bouvier. Ms. Bouvier, you need to turn your video on because we're in the middle of middle of the hearing now. So you have to have your video on. You turn your mic off, but your video needs to be on.
Your Honor, for the record, before we proceed this matter, there are some facts I must state for the record. I'm here on special restricted appearance as the representative of the descendant. And I do not wish to waive any rights, rather statutorial or procedural. And for the record, as the authorized representative, executor, beneficiary, I have demanded a jury trial in regards to this matter. Moving forward, for the record, Your Honor, I have filed an amended notice of recusal with an affidavit of fact on May 29, 2024. With all due respect, Your Honor, I have not received a response from you in regards to this notice. Please note for the record, I have presented to this court on special restricted delivery all presentments to date. Moving forward, according to Georgia Code Section 1512-122 and 2020 Georgia Code Section 91138, rights to a jury trial is a reserved right. Please note for the record, at this time, I do not wish to add nor subtract anything from my presentments, and I stand behind my documents. And at this time, I respectfully excuse myself from this proceeding to await all notices concerning the trial by jury according to the law.
Okay. So first, you filed a motion for recusal, which the court denied. Looks like you need to turn your video back on. If you don't turn your video back on, I'm going to have a hearing without you.
You know, we saw, if you watch my channel, we've done different videos about women being extremely unruly in the presence of the law, right? Whether that be police coming to the house or police going to somebody else's house because they're there and they're acting belligerent, or if we're watching court cases like this, right? So we've seen different times where these women are extremely unruly and disrespectful in the court of law. Now, this is a Zoom hearing, right? But clearly everybody else has their cameras on, right? The judge, the attorneys. I think this brother up here is the father, I think. So everybody else has their cameras on, court watchers, all that, right? This one gets on camera, says some nonsense. Her motion was denied, and then she turns her camera right back off, right? It's that Jezebel spirit, right? That spirit of Lilith that's in them. They can't help it. When things aren't going their way, when they feel like things, or they don't have control of things, it just slowly creeps out of them, right? And the judge is already upset, right? The judge is like, look, I've told you to keep your camera on. And this woman's just not listening. Wild.
Okay. So turn your video back on. All right. You filed a motion for recusal, which the court reviewed and denied without there being sufficient evidence. I think you filed an amended one, which the court did not receive a copy of. You were supposed to send that to Chambers if you actually wanted me to respond to it. But you filed it via e-file. I'm noticing it now. It's going to be denied for the very same reasons. With regard to your request for for a trial, this is a custody matter. It cannot be a trial by jury because you can't have a trial by jury on.
Really quick as well, right? I think her motion for recusal was trying to get the judge off the case, right? She's trying to get, I think her name is like Judge Barry, off the case. Maybe she feels like the judge wouldn't be sympathetic to her issues or whatever, but just looking at her face, if you guys can see it, if you're watching on your phone or if you're watching on like a computer or your TV, I mean, she just looks like a fantastic night, right? I mean, look at her face, right? Just very Miss Bouvier. Very fun times.
Custody matter. So that issue would be denied. As for your representation, the court will consider you London Bouvier. That's who you are. That's what the court consider you as. If you want to consider yourself as anything else, that'll be up to you. But when I make a decision, it's going to be for your government name, London Bouvier. And that's what the law of Georgia is going to hold accountable. So when you don't do what I asked to do, then your representative or whoever you think you might be won't be going to jail. It will be you, London Bouvier. Okay.
Wow.
So I want to make sure you understand that.
Yep.
So is that clear to you? All right, we're going to proceed in these proceedings. If you want to participate, that's up to you. If you don't want to participate, that's up to you. But I am going to make a ruling, and the law will be what the law is. I suggest you should participate so that you can be heard, and that the concerns that you have, the court will have an opportunity to hear them. That'll be up to you. Okay. But if you do participate, you need to have your video on.
Props to the judge for shutting her down immediately and refusing to even entertain the ex-wife's antics. Keep in mind, the reason they are in court today is because the ex-wife is denying the father visitation of his own kid.
Ms. Giles,
Yes, Your Honor.
start with your recommendation first, and then you can back up with why you made such decision.
Sure. And I think we're just here on the limited matter for contempt.
I mean, did you just see her get up and walk out? I mean, this is wild, right? This is wild that she has this much freedom, right? We always handle women with child gloves, right? I've heard CGA talk about that, and I think it's true, right? We always handle women with child gloves, right? We're always very understanding, and we always want to give grace, right? But I mean, this woman is clearly being disrespectful in the Zoom court of law, right? And this judge has just about had it, right? But let's keep going.
From that interim order that was entered in April, if I'm correct. And I agree with that, what's in that order, Your Honor, as far as getting visitation started
Okay,
from
hold on.
Leah and Dad.
Yeah, hold on. Let me pull back for a second, okay? Because I think I had to go to another. Okay, so I see an amended, I see on April 19th, amended parenting plan. So-
No, Judge, we had the hearing, I believe, on the 14th. We submitted an interim order for a temporary visitation that was signed on the 19th.
That's signed on the 19th.
That's correct, Your Honor. I'm sorry, it was signed on the 18th and filed on the 19th.
Did you get a copy of it? Obviously.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, I don't see it. Hold on for a second. Did you see it in the?
Yes, ma'am.
It's not showing in Judge's editions.
Oh,
That's odd.
it is.
Odyssey shows it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I apologize. So there are two things. There's Odyssey that everybody kind of looks at, and then there's Judge's edition, which is how we keep our notes based on a document, which is how we operate. I don't know why, but this interim order isn't there. So when I was reviewing the file for this hearing, I didn't see this order. So let me take a quick second to look at it. Thank you.
No problem, Judge.
I mean, folks, I mean, look how many people are involved in this, custody case. It is just ridiculous. Now, I've never, knock on wood, you guys can hear that, knock on wood. I've never been through this. I don't have any kids, but it is just ridiculous right now. This, like I said, I believe this is the gentleman who is the father up here. And then you have the attorneys, and then the court watchers. But I feel like this is where it ends, right? This is where it ends so many times for men who are fighting for custody for their kids from a woman who they thought would love them forever, right? And again, right, women tend to get married hoping that they can change the man. Men get married hoping that the woman won't change, right? But the fact of the matter is that there are systems in place that allow her to take advantage of this, right? To take advantage of certain laws, to skedaddle out of her relationship or out of her marriage without due cause, right? And that ruling is, no fault divorce, right? She's unhappy. She's not satisfied. Well, how do you measure that? How do you measure her happiness? How do you do it? Right? Because they are insatiable creatures. It's impossible to measure their happiness. Right? So, I mean, just look how many people have to be involved once you get to that point where she is no longer happy, right? She wants to go practice her hypergamy. She wants to be out on the street. She wants to chase the ballers and the athletes. And, her love was only good for 3 years. Now you in front of 8 people fighting for your kid or kids. Crazy.
Has this order been followed? Is it being?
No, Your Honor,
Yeah.
that's why we're here.
It's not being followed.
No.
No, right. We filed a contempt on this order on May 7th.
Really? I don't know what's happening. Okay. I assume I had thought that this matter was coming back on the calendar because I continued it from the last matter, but now I understand. Okay, so there is also the contempt on the interim order.
That's
right.
correct, Your Honor.
Got it. I got it. All right. Yeah, all other issues shall remain. Okay. All right. So the order isn't being followed.
That's
It is
correct.
not.
That's the issue. It being followed at all, like no visitation, or just being
No visitation at all, Judge.
I have a feeling the father is paying child support as well, even though they haven't mentioned that yet. So this means that the mother is not only blocking visitation of his own kid, but is demanding that he pay her as well.
Yeah. And what women do, and I've seen this with friends, I've seen this with family. Women will use children against a man, right? I think it even happens in the marriage, right? If a woman sees like a kid gravitates more towards the husband, or like for a daughter, for example, she's like daddy's little girl. Whenever they're in trouble, whenever they're feeling sad or they're sick, if they only want mommy or excuse me, if they only want daddy, women get jealous. They get mad, right? And okay, whatever. They came out of you, but we always hear this stuff that women are the more empathetic ones, and there's been research done that shows that the empathy more than likely comes from the man in the relationship, in the marriage, right? It comes from the husband, doesn't necessarily come from the mother. And so this woman in this case is holding the child hostage, using the child against this man, not allowing him to see him. And I agree with what the Modern King here says, that he's most likely probably paying child support for a child that he can't even see. Like, this is the system that we have in this country, and this is the system that women love to get involved into their family, right? Women love to get the government involved in their love affairs and the affairs of their children. They love it.
In my opinion, if she is receiving child support, it should be terminated, and the father should either get 50-50 or primary custody due to the mother's vindictive behavior.
Right.
All right, Ms. Bouvier, I've indicated to you once before that your video has to stay on. This will be my last warning to you. Turn your video on. Ms. Bouvier, if I say it again, I'm going to find you in contempt of court. If I say it again, I'm going to find you in contempt. So when any issue happens before, I'm going to have my deputies come get you. Okay. You turn it off again, I will find you in contempt of court. All right. So you will spend 10 days in the Cobb County Jail. You turn the video off again. Okay.
There you go. Yep.
Did you understand me, Ms. Bouvier? Did you understand me, Ms. Bouvier? Unmute yourself and say so. Ms. Bouvier, I'm going to ask you one more time. I'm going to excuse you from this hearing. I'm going to find you in contempt, and I will pick you up. And your child will then go to Mr. Habib. Unmute.
I stand behind my documents.
Oh, this man.
For the record, I stand behind my documents.
You can stand behind whatever you want. Do not.
She going to jail. She going to jail. I mean, unruly, insubordinate, uncouth, right? Just terrible. Now, and oftentimes with these cases, from what I've seen, from what I've looked at, what I've researched, a lot of times the kid is better off with the father, right? The father a lot of times is more financially stable, more emotionally and mentally stable. But more oftentimes than not, the courts will give custody to the woman, right? To get that child support payment from the man, to get him on a hook, right? But the well-being of that child, the overall welfare of that child, more than likely is better with the father, right? And I don't know this couple. This is my first time seeing this case, first time being introduced to these people. It just seems like the child is going to be much better off with the father than he or she would ever be with Miss London Bouvier. She about to be in prison, braiding hair.
Unmute like I asked you. Ms. Marshall, go ahead and remove Ms. Bouvier from these proceedings.
Yes, ma'am.
I find you in contempt of court. 10
Yep,
days
there
in
it
the
is.
Cobb County Jail.
Yep.
Child will be presented to Mr. Habib. These matters will be continued thereafter.
Man, so yeah, she going to jail. She going to jail. And the kid is going to Mr. Habib, rather up here in the top left, right? So yeah, which is probably where the kid belongs, right? Probably where the kid needs to be instead of with this woman, right? That kid is probably going to be much better off with this guy right here. And notice he didn't say anything the entire time. Now this is a short clip, but he didn't say anything the entire time. And I'm sure it was probably like that throughout the entire hearing, right? I mean, she's trying to take this custody thing to like a trial, and the judge is just like, nah, baby, we about to decide this right now. We ain't going to no trial. What are you talking about? It is just incredible, man, the things that go on in these women's mind. Like, it is outrageous. But I do hope it works out for this brother. I hope she, I'm sure she, Judge Barry, I think is her name, sent her sheriffs to go pick this woman up. She probably spent some time in lockup, right? Probably got out, made some friends, but I hope the kid is okay, right? More importantly than these two folks, right? Hope the man is doing well. But guys, I think we are going to leave it there. Another case of a very unruly, belligerent woman in the court of law. Unbelievable. Guys, until next time, I hope you eat well, sleep well, be well. I'll see you guys later. Peace.